All right, friends, let's practice some sitting dharma. Pistä vaan kiinni. Yesterday we did Guru Yoga practice with Guru Padmasambhava. I think that this morning you practice with Amrita Rani, with Yeshe Thogal. And then also yesterday we did some technical practice from Rainbow Body Yoga. Remember, doors and windows open. Including eyes relaxed. Don't chase anything. Don't go after anything. So relaxing eyes is very important, especially in the beginning. And then relaxing mouth, jaws is also helpful because internal chatter is related to mouth and jaws. So in the beginning it's usually is the case that the mind pesters us with repetitive thoughts or repetitive ideas. So thoughts are on repeat. So it's helpful to relax the mouth and jaws, to interrupt that repetitive internal chatter. And the same thing in the whole area of the body. Samsara means literally going around the same way, on and on. That's what samsara means. So this repeating the same thing, walking in circles, running in circles, it's in our minds, it's in our bodies, it's our energy. But then when we open up, open doors and windows, relax eyes, relax mouth, that is already interrupting that repetition. Right? Is it? Does it work? And then that already gives us a fresher feel. Freshness is so important. So important. It's easy to understand, isn't it? The opposite of fresh is stale. We can understand that if we have been active during the day, sweating, stale energy in that sense. And when we take a shower or go to sauna, even better, then we can easily understand that, oh, fresh is definitely better. Same thing with cleaning our homes. Fresher is better. And so it is with the samsaric mind and nature of mind. Nature of mind is fresh. remember one thing: you are not acquiring anything from outside of yourself. In this process of purification and in the attainment of supreme enlightenment, you're not acquiring anything outside of yourself. Nobody is giving you something from the outside. So you already have the full potential for the supreme awakening. We all do. Another thing that is very important to understand, that this is our nature. This Buddha nature is simply our wakeful nature, our true being. When I say Buddha nature or true being, it kind of sounds somehow abstract. But if we say the real I, the real me, without the usual mental and emotional limitations, without all the troubles that self-delusion and selfishness creates, without any of that, without drowsiness, without blurriness, that's the real you and real I, the Buddha. So even when in the Buddhist side, when we are working with emptiness and realizing emptiness, it means that we gradually remove this limited sense of self, I, me. We remove, I say that again, a limited sense of me or I. That's delusion. We remove the delusion. Buddha Shakyamuni taught the Dharma in 3 phases. First turning of the wheel of Dharma, Hinayana. Second turning of the wheel of Dharma, Mahayana. And then third turning of the wheel of Dharma, he clarified the meaning of Buddha nature. So the first and second turnings of the wheel of Dharma are focused, are geared towards this selflessness or emptiness realization. Which means exactly the same what we are doing with opening and perfecting bhumis, the 10 bhumis, the 10 grounds, removing that self-delusion. But then there's the third turning of the wheel of Dharma, which discusses the nature of this Buddha nature, the nature of our true being. And that it might seem superficially that it contradicts emptiness doctrine, shunyata doctrine, but it actually doesn't. It speaks of our recognition and experience, sensations, post-emptiness realization. So post-emptiness. Realizing emptiness is not the finishing line. There is more to Buddha Dharma than emptiness. But most Buddhists are in the process of realizing emptiness, and therefore the teachings of the third turning are not even on their map. There are whole traditions where it's not really on their map. It's not part of their syllabus. But what is interesting, I was recently reading one of my favorite Mahasiddhas in the Mahasiddha family is Dolpopa, Tibetan Master Dolpopa, who was a specialist on this Buddha nature doctrine, this third turning of the wheel of Dharma teachings. And he is seen as a heretic by many lamas of his time, and is still seen as a heretic by some, because he spoke of this. Maybe I will have it on my cell phone. Just a moment. Yes, I still have it. So some of the terms so we are talking about a Buddhist master, and he spoke about Atman. Atman is a term coming from Hinduism that is usually translated as self or soul. Self or soul. And you know, in the first turning of the wheel of Dharma in Hinayana, Buddha teaches anatman, no self. No self. So negation of self. Okay? But Dolpopa, being a specialist of third turning of the wheel of Dharma, openly speaks of Atman, self, soul, great self, true self, diamond self, supreme self, solid self, the supreme self of all creatures. And that will immediately upset lots of Buddhists. Like, what the heck? Like, if you have some understanding of this, of course I recommend you to study these topics. But if you have some understanding of Buddhism and its doctrines, speaking of Atman, self or soul, in Buddhist context, it's for many Buddhists it's a red flag. I always felt that Buddha Dharma, that was founded in our time by Buddha Shakyamuni, was an effort to clarify this pragya, wisdom, or jnana, knowledge principle for the people of the world, and to fix that problem, the lack of that point in the so-called Hinduism, Sanatana Dharma. I feel that Buddha Shakyamuni was sent to fix this persistent problem in Hinduism. And in Hinduism they speak of this Atman, self, soul, this true self, eternal self. Just like Dolpopa does. But you cannot really understand this true self, this immense love and richness of experience, if the mind is cluttered, if the mind is tied to a sense of self, if the mind is self-deluded. And there you can see, I was speaking in my talk a few moments ago about Mahasiddhas, enlightened beings in all of these traditions, from all of these traditions, and the sameness of all Mahasiddhas. Sameness. That they have realized and embody the same nature. But I feel it's beautiful to find how the different parts fit. Isn't it? You know, Buddhists, most of them strongly negate this Atman, self or soul of the Hindus by saying that no, Buddhists teach no self, anatman, emptiness of self. Yes, but there is more to Buddhism. There is more to Buddha Shakyamuni's teachings. This is a simple fact. And when you understand that third turning of the wheel of dharma, then you can see the correlation with what Hinduism, Sanatana Dharma, always taught. This eternal soul. What is eternal soul? Eternal self. So the whole process of emptiness meditation is that we remove limitations, we remove obstructions, we remove distortions. Removing distortions. If you have a window glass, and it's dirty and perhaps broken at places, obviously you can't see through very well. That's like self-delusion. Murky, dirty, broken. So we clean the glass or put a new bright glass in place, and then we can see. Then the window is doing its job correctly. Without these distortions, or self-based view that skews what we are feeling, seeing, thinking, experiencing, then our mind rests in clarity. That's the gift of vipassana meditation, emptiness, pragya wisdom, that the mind rests more and more, and then finally completely at all times in this clarity, sobriety, wakefulness. But after that, there is more. There is the flowering, there is the beauty. Beauty. Joy. Spontaneous joyfulness, spontaneous ease. Great ease, great bliss to be discovered. We're talking about revealing the nature of mind, our nature, in the astral body now, in the meridian system now. This flowering, blooming, not dry, not withered, not lifeless, but full of life. Spontaneous joy, not attached to joy, not attached to happiness, but spontaneous blooming. From head to toe, from heart. Love and joy spontaneously radiating, just like rainbows. Vitality radiating like it's now early summer here in Europe. It's like vegetation, trees, leaves, bushes, flowers, and that kind of vitality and radiance spontaneously there. This is the true self, the soul, Atman. True self, true me, true I. Without selfishness, without delusion. And this is the beauty of Buddha Sakyamuni's teaching, that he didn't leave it there with emptiness, with negation of the problems, with negation of the distortions. He explains and teaches that there is this life, liveliness, aliveness, positive power. Goodness. So sweet, tender too. Do you understand? Do you follow? So we are talking nothing else except causal body and astral body in their pure state. And what is actually really silly is that, us humans, because of our minds and our psychology, which is very complex compared to other species on this planet, we have to do all kinds of things to get back to zero, get back to this original soul of ours. But then when you start seeing that in yourself, and then you start seeing it outside of yourself, you realize that literally every single blade of grass, every single little animal, ant, bee, bird, a duck, a small bush, big bush, small tree, big tree, everything around us, even non-physical things, even cement, rests effortlessly in that natural original purity and bliss. So at some point, at least that's how it's for me, that you feel like an idiot, like a fool. Birds sing, wind blows, sun shines, moon is radiant at night, and everything around us, like things that are alive and things that are like, inanimate, like buildings, cars, chairs, walls, everything around us sings the beauty of reality and embodies it effortlessly. You can't feel like but an idiot, but that's a good feeling. Feeling a fool at that point is a relief, certainly. Because the reality is far from being complex, far from being somehow advanced, metaphysical, philosophical, doctrinal. Sit with me. Feel me with you. And that's what it means. Like Dolpopa phrased it, supreme self of all creatures. Supreme soul of all creatures. Soulful. And this aliveness, this very sweet, joyful nature of goodness, this is the Sambhogakaya, second one of the three kaya, of the three Buddha bodies, Sambhogakaya, often translated as enjoyment body. This is the experience of it. Whether you are recognizing it 20%, 40%, 70% or 100%, you will still notice this, oh, very nice, sweetness, aliveness. Like the liveliness in a healthy forest. This is your own rainbow body, light body, golden body appearing. Whether 20, 40, 60, 80, 100%. But this is your light body showing. Isn't it similar experience like in Amrita Kriya? During the exercises? Or in Paravastha? Or after the practice? That becomes more and more apparent and familiar as weeks and months of practice go by, right? And becomes more and more apparent when you do trauma healing. So is this really you? If it is self, if it is called self or called soul, that means that it is something fundamental, something like a bedrock in us, in our minds, in our psyches, that this is who we are. So is it really who you are? I think so. Little moments throughout our lives, because of little moments, little, how do you say, like little flashes throughout our lives, this same soul, same nature with its qualities has appeared. But in brief moments. But because it has flashed, briefly appeared, is why we can recognize, oh, this is who I am. This is the true me, real me. So it is not completely foreign. It's just that the richness and depth is different when it is pointed out like this, and how it's revealed to us through practice. Spontaneous joyfulness, spontaneous happiness, spontaneous ease. You don't have to do anything to feel peaceful or do anything to feel happier. Don't have to do anything to feel joyful, to have fun. So again, we are not talking about a practice or a technique, we are talking about our nature, who we are. To come back to the long discussion about standards set by attained Buddhas and Mahasiddhas. They became Buddhas and Mahasiddhas for making this empty nature and radiant nature, spontaneously joyful nature, apparent to themselves. First, it's 20% in your practice and in your daily life, then gradually little more, gradually more, becomes more and more apparent. And then you rest in clarity, in grace. No obstructions, no distortions, nothing skewing. Naturally, spontaneously radiant being. And that's it. That's all of it. That's all there is to Dharma teaching. In principle, in terms of principles, there is nothing else to say. There is no 14th Bhumi. There is no some other magical body. This is all of it. This is the full scope. Does it feel like a full scope? Can you intuit it? Does it feel like my pointing out my transmission and my commentary through words is missing something? Or does it feel complete? Some of you, number of you, have finished the wisdom emptiness practice. So a little practical instruction to you. So as your mind rests in this clarity, wakefulness, instead of staying focused in that clarity and wakefulness, notice the aliveness in that clarity. With your whole body, notice it. Feel it. I have already pointed it out and transmitted it to you, so you are in that experience. You are already recognizing this enjoyment body, sambhoga kaya. But in your home practice, when you practice Amrita Kriya, or maybe even Rainbow Body Yoga if you enjoy that, when you are practicing Ati Yoga, non-meditation at the end, with more clarity, better understanding of the view, just focus on this aliveness instead. Sweetness. With your whole body. Look at it, listen to it, smell it, taste it, touch it. This is basically what in Ati Yoga, in Dzogchen teachings, there is the category of Togal, which are rainbow body teachings, specific instructions. That's what you basically do. Instead of focusing on clarity, just focus on aliveness. And this is the kind of aliveness that you're focusing on. Dzogchen Togal. Togal practice. Viut Krantaka Samapatti is the term. And when you are practicing Ati Yoga Togal, this Dzogchen Togal, better to keep eyes open. So like this, I have pointed out the aliveness aspect of Buddha nature to you and transmitted, shown it to you. This is how it is. This is like in Dzogchen, this is an empowerment that you have received. Togal empowerment, Sambhogakaya empowerment. It's not an empowerment for a deity or a mantra. It's just an empowerment, like showing to you what this aliveness aspect of nature of mind is. Let's continue enjoying lying down for about 15 minutes.